How's it going, everybody? Texas Man here. I hope you guys are all having a fabulous day. Please give this video a thumbs up if you guys really enjoy it. Subscribe, of course, if you guys have not already. Also, please do me the biggest favor of all. Hit that bell notification button so you guys don't miss out on future videos or streams here on my channel. And today I'm talking about another throwback type of film. This is, of course, going to be my review for Blade 1998. We're, of course, going to be talking about positives and negatives, and I'll give you guys my final review score at the end. I hope you guys all enjoy. So to be honest with you guys, Blade from 1998 is rated R and it's 2 hours long, and it is one of my favorite Marvel films ever. It is definitely in my top 5, and Wesley Snipes as Blade just is amazing. Wesley Snipes as an actor fully committed to making sure this movie, this Blade movie based on the comics, was good, and he gives an amazing performance. Even to go as far as to be in full costume and giving his Blade-like voice during press interviews was really awesome to see. And you can go back and, of course, you can watch those press conferences and interviews and whatnot online. And it's really cool to see just how dedicated Wesley Snipes as an actor was to making sure this movie was amazing. And it was just so awesome, and it still is awesome constantly to rewatch this movie, to see Blade, the half-mortal, half-immortal vampire killer, come to life on the big screen. And honestly, my favorite scene in this movie still is the opening scene with the blood shower sprinkler scene in the Night Vampire Club. It's just so amazing, and it's very memorable. It's something that once you've seen it, you kind of want to watch it again and again just because of how cool it is as an introduction into the Blade universe. And let's be honest with you guys, if this movie didn't come out, movies like Matrix, X-Men, Spider-Man, Deadpool, the Marvel Cinematic Universe, none of that stuff would have come to be if Blade wasn't made. Now, I like Blade 2, but there are a lot of problems I have with it, and Blade Trinity is a complete dumpster fire, so I am not going to be reviewing those two movies unless you guys want me to. Let me know in the comment section if you guys actually want me to review Blade and Blade Trinity, and if I get enough people that say you guys want me to do so in the comment section, then I may consider so. But I consider Blade a movie on its own that really doesn't require sequels. I mean, the ending does have a bit of a cliffhanger, but you get the point of the movie, and you really don't need a sequel. And I like that because they didn't know if they were going to have the ability to do a sequel. They just wanted to make a good movie, and Blade is a good movie from point A to point B. There are a few problems that I'll talk about in the negatives in a second. But Wesley Snipes, I just can't get enough of this guy as an actor. Wesley Snipes, he does almost 100% of the stunts himself. Very limited extras and stunt help and stunt helpers that did the parkour and the acting scenes. Wesley Snipes did most of that stuff himself, which I really love. I also love the fact that most of the fights have little to no musical background, like not a lot of techno or musical bass numbers. Like the opening scene with the nightclub definitely has it. And then it kind of just mellows out and kind of gets soft and allows you to focus on the acting, the action, and the dialogue. And then when the finale shows up in like last 10 to 15 minutes, then it just goes full-blown Blade, bass, and techno, and I love it. And I love that they did that. Also, the camera work in this film is amazing. For negatives, this movie is, of course, rated R. It's got blood, got language, and extreme violence, but honestly, the blood and the violence in this movie, it's kind of like cheesy, and it just, it's Blade. So if you're going to go into watching a Blade movie or TV show, and there's not blood and violence, you're not watching Blade. It's just plain and simple, okay? There are some moments of CGI in this movie. Like I said, this came out in 1998. Some of the CGI in this movie is extremely outdated. And the villain in this movie is basically a brat. He's like, I want to be a blood god. I want to be in control of the entire planet. And I'm like, it's just not very believable as a villain. He comes off as this snood, I can get whatever I want to without having any consequences happen to me type of villain. And that's just not realistic. And so you really don't care what's going to happen to him. I mean, you obviously know that Blade's going to kick his ass. You know Blade is just going to kick his butt because Blade is Blade. But in this villain, just he's not even a vampire 100%. He's not a true blood vampire. And I'm just like, I can't take this dude seriously, okay? And then lastly, this movie drags on. Like, I got to the point where I'm like an hour and 20 minutes in the movie, and I have this problem with this movie every time I watch it. But this movie drags on. You get to the 1 hour and 20 minute mark, and you're like, okay, the movie should be over in 10 to 15 minutes, and then it drags on for another 20 to 30. The movie's just way too long. Like, it gets to a point where, like, the pacing just comes to a screeching halt. They focus too much on the dialogue, and the action and everything else happening in the background kind of gets pushed to the sidelines. And I'm just like, I don't care that this one dude died. Overall, guys, though, Blade is an awesome movie to watch. I highly encourage you guys, if you guys haven't seen it. I know that Blade isn't something a lot of people talk about. A lot of people constantly talk about Black Panther, the Marvel Cinematic Universe, Spider-Man, X-Men. But without all that stuff, without all that stuff, without Blade, none of that stuff would exist. So I encourage you guys to check out one of the movies that helped launch superhero blockbuster films into mainstream media and into a lot of people's lives. Like, Guardians of the Galaxy would not exist without Blade. Black Panther would not have existed without Blade. And, yeah, I encourage you guys to watch this movie. With that, I'm going to give it an 8.5 out of 10. Thank you guys so much for watching. You guys all have a good one.